Hello, everybody. Greetings and welcome to another one of our podcasts. So we're going to go over some things today at LWP. I'm trying to get my like all of the audio and video and stuff done right, but it's not cooperating with me very well. But we'll figure it out. I'll move this a little bit closer and then we can get this thing to stop like its little twitching thing. And there we go. Not too close because I don't want to scare you guys. But right there, that works for me. Okay, so welcome, you guys. I wanted to go over some things today we're going to talk about. But what I also want to go over is I'm going to move some things around here, moving some windows and stuff. I didn't create something that I need to create for you guys. Actually, I can show this. And let's see what this one is. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in there so you guys can see. That is going to be our website. And then we'll have, I'm going to be talking about a few things today. One of the things we're going to be talking about, first of all, is Lisa, or is it Lisa? Let's just say Elvis Presley's granddaughter is suing to stop a foreclosure sale of the late singer's historic Memphis home. Now, this is a CNN article, and I have the, let's see, where is the, actually, you guys can just look it up. Look it up on CNN. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude like that, but I don't have it directly in front of me. I just have the article itself, what it read. But the article says, it just basically says that Danielle Kylie Keough. Now, that is a giveaway to me, okay? When I see that, the name, it doesn't say anything. It says an individual's name. The granddaughter of Elvis and the current owner of the property was able to get a restraining order against any sale before a court rules on her application for an injunction according to court documents obtained by CNN, okay? That's what it says. Keough filed a lawsuit this month stating that last year, Nuassany, Nuassany Investments in Private Lending LLC presented documents purporting to show that Lisa Marie Presley had borrowed $3.8 million from Nuassany Investments and gave a deed of trust encumbering Graceland as security. So she put up Graceland as collateral. Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's daughter and Keough's mother, died in January 2023. This is guys, this is like right here. This is textbook exactly how this stuff happens right now. This is it. So follow me on this, okay? So Elvis's daughter and Keough's mother died in January 2023. Lisa Marie Presley was the sole heir to Graceland of her father's estate. She was an heir, but they only left that estate for a life estate. They didn't change the wording properly, and it ended up only being a life estate. And then the granddaughter gets garbage. That's how fast, that's how quickly an estate can go. Elvis's from a trust to Lisa Marie, and then to the granddaughter because she doesn't know what she's doing, and they didn't do the stuff properly. They didn't make the proper documentation, and it's surrendered automatically. And then she gets an estate that is just like basically like you came from as a immigrant. That's kind of the same thing. You don't have any rights. You can't own land or anything like that. So even though they're saying she owns land, it is not like you say. It's because you don't have, it's not like it says. It's, you don't look at that deed, and the deed of trust doesn't say anything, especially when she put it up as collateral for whatever was borrowed. And then when they borrowed it, they converted it back out of trust into something else, into a mortgage itself, and now they're foreclosing on the mortgage. So that's just that easy. By not knowing how these things work, we get duped into taking something that, well, shouldn't have ever happened that way. So she said the documents are fraudulent. That's what the lawsuit says. Lisa Marie Presley never borrowed money from Nosany Investments and never gave a deed of trust to Nosany Investments. The court document also identified a notary in Florida who said she, quote, never met Lisa Marie Presley nor notarized any document for her, end quote, despite her name being on loan paperwork. So they've got some issues there. The lawsuit alleges Nosany Investments in Private Lending LLC appears to be a false entity created for the purpose of defrauding. CNN emailed Nosany Investments in Private Lending LLC and received an automated reply. We are currently out of the office. We will resume normal business hours on Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. When CNN attempted to reach Nosany Investments in Private LLC by phone, the number was no longer in service. The business was listed in a court document from Keough's attorney as being located in Kimberling City, Missouri, but CNN was unable to locate a business in the state of Missouri by that name via Secretary of State's office. CNN was also unable to locate a business by that name when searching nationwide. Now they don't have to. They don't have to produce that because it's a non-judicial foreclosure. Nosany Investments has now scheduled a non-judicial sale of Graceland based on the fraudulent deed of trust. The lawsuit reads, the sale is scheduled for May 23rd, 2024. This is an action to enjoin the non-judicial sale. According to court documents obtained by CNN, the temporary restraining order was granted on May 15th, prohibiting Nosany Investments in Private Lending LLC from conducting any non-judicial sale of the property. CNN has sought comment from the representatives and attorneys for Keough, and that's Keough. In a statement, Elvis Presley Enterprises, the company that manages Presley's estate, concurred that Nosany's claim was illegitimate. Elvis Presley Enterprises can confirm that these claims are fraudulent, the company said. There is no foreclosure sale. Simply put, the counter lawsuit has been filed is to stop the fraud. Graceland is one of the South's biggest tourist draws for the years, was the nation's second most visited home after the White House. In 2020, a Presley executive told Rolling Stone that Presley estate was worth between $400 million and $500 million. Lisa Marie Presley annually earned seven figures from it, based on a court filing in her 2022 divorce. A hearing is scheduled for Wednesday at 9 a.m. at Chancery Court in Shelby County, Tennessee, folks. Chancery Court. You see, they are righting a wrong. The law says, well, the paperwork is the paperwork, and it is what it is. And that's what they've got. They've got stuff on the law side that says it. But guess what? The law is not going to fix the wrongdoing. The law can't fix the wrongdoing because the law doesn't have that ability. But that's what equity does. And statutes, rules, and codes are very, very jealous of equity jurisprudence, folks. You got to be very cautious of jealousy, okay? Jealousy is not a good trait to have. But that was from the CNN article written by Raja Razik in CNN on Tuesday, May 21st, 2024 at 5:58 a.m. Eastern Time. Elvis's granddaughter fights Graceland foreclosure sale and alleges fraud. That's the title of it. And I will throw this. Actually, I can do this on the screen. If you guys want to look at it, you can take it. And I will put it right here. And then I'll enter, and then I'll show it for you. There you go. So you guys can see if you want to see that. There's the address for that. Okay. And I'll just leave that up there for until I change it. Okay. So now I was inquiring into other things because I wanted to know what record there was anywhere on the internet where I could find prior foreclosures on Graceland or any other thing that exists. And it said that the estate was managed under the aegis, the AEGIS of Elvis Presley Enterprises, and ensuring a veil of stability despite the occasional whiff of controversy in the air, perhaps, akin to a garden party disrupted by an unexpected Tennessee thunderstorm. The narrative twists and turns as Daniela now contends with shadowy figures in a battle that might decide the future of the iconic home. And this legal drama unfolds. One's reminded of the complexities and the enduring spirit of the Presley legacy, continuing to captivate and enthrall like the King's music itself. And moving over to our next topic, guys. We have a few good topics here today. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys also about declarations. We're going to talk about the difference between declarations and affidavits. We started to talk about that. I started to give you a little bit about that information, but I'm going to elaborate on that. I want you guys to see that there's more to this than just what we talked about before, and specifically where these things are, where they are located. Let me make sure I don't have any other thing that I'm going to give you. Nope. Okay, cool. All right. So the declaration are both declaration and affidavit. They're both legal documents. Okay. They're both involve a person either swearing or affirming to the truth of the information contained within it. But there's some differences between these two statements. An affidavit is a written statement that is made under oath. Okay, it means that the person signing it has sworn before a notary public or another authorized officer that the contents of the document are true and to the best of their knowledge. Now, when you guys are getting notaries, when you're getting a notary for your name and they're asking for your ID, you're showing a trustee ID card, and that's another trustee within the same company saying, hey, this is the same agent that is the same person that's saying they're the agent that sits in front of me. That's all it is. It's like you being a person in the company that goes and verifies everybody that comes to you with a company ID card, and you sign to say that they brought a company ID card to you. That's all a notary is, folks. That's it. That's all a notary is. That's why they say two witnesses, one or two witnesses, two or three to establish a fact. So another witness and yourself is two witnesses. Two other people is amazing, because you don't have to have the notary. You have to have the two people that are willing to stand up and open their jabber jaws to convey the same message that a notary would do if they came in and were to speak up under the oath, right? That's the only difference. Okay. So I'm going to turn this off here, and I'm going to turn this on so that people can see where we're at. Okay. So that's what the affidavit is, meaning that you're taking it under oath. Now, you can be a civilian and doing things under the same pretenses. Now, I'm going to give that to you. That is under, and I'll put this on here too. It's under 28 USC 1746 subsection 1. Okay. So this is, I'm going to add this. There you go. 28 USC 1746 subsection 1. Title 28 USC 1746 subsection 1 says that it's without the United States. So you guys can make a declaration without the United States. You don't have to swear under oath. You make it without the United States. The United States is a company. So if you're making an affidavit or you're swearing something within a company, then it would be under, 28 USC 1746. 28 USC 1746 subsection 1 is without the United States. So that's what you guys just want to opt to. And if you want to write it somewhere else that to make that clear, that point clear, then I would not blame you for wanting to do that, because that certainly reaffirms what you're trying to convey in a message anyways. And what I'm teaching you guys is how to keep a message clear. Because if a message can be interpreted more than one way, and it can be disadvantageous to you, or maybe more advantageous to someone else, per se, should I say that way, then the odds that have been created surrounding that matter are going to be more favorable towards you losing something because you don't know what is happening. I have people a lot that come to me, and I know I'm forgetting something. I know, but I got a reminder here. Actually, I do have something for you guys. Um, I have a really quick. I'm going to stop here really fast. If you guys could just help me remember where I'm at, and I will check you guys out in the chat. So, but I'm gonna also give you guys the let's see. I got to go to Telegram here really quick, and okay, I got. Okay, so I don't. Um, I was told that it was in my inbox. I don't see it in my inbox. So if you send it in my inbox, it's not there in my Telegram. I need it in my Telegram if you want me to show people. Uh, so anyway, I don't have. Anyway, we have a like somebody that um that was successful. Well, somebody that did a W-4 over a year ago. I just know the details, and that's that they checked their credit and they had 12 accounts drop off their credit report since that W-4 was done. And so they're saying, well, I came in a little bit later, but it's okay. You know what? Congratulations, and that's awesome. I'm glad. So hopefully that improved things for you a lot. And just get back into this. I mean, I'll just jump right back into where I was. Um, when you're making an affidavit, you're making a sworn statement under oath. Okay. Um, a declaration is also a written statement, and it's also under oath, but it doesn't require the presence of a notary or any other authorized officer. Um, the person signing that document simply states they swear or affirm its truthfulness, and you get your witnesses. And declarations are often less used in less formal proceedings and can be submitted as evidence in court, although they can carry slightly less weight than an affidavit. And I just saw this. Okay, so I'm going to do this though. I'm going to cut out the name. Oops. I need to wait. Hold on just a second, guys. I'll get it for you in just a minute and I'll show you. Okay, so let me go share the screen with you. This gets complicated. All right, here we go. I'm going to move this over here, and then I'm going to share with you guys, present, share screen. Yeah, I know. My goodness. Okay, that's not what I want. Window. Okay, this is what I want. So it says, okay, I haven't been here in a while, but I just wanted to share my testimony on W-4. It took a while, about a year. But today I went and checked my accounts. Over 10 accounts have been removed from my report. I know we have probably moved on to other things, but I had to share this. So never too late for that, guys and gals. Like, that's awesome. Good for you. And that's amazing. So like, however that worked out, I'm glad that worked out for you guys, like, awesome. Good job. And I'm glad that you were able to, be successful in that. Let me move some things here real quick. There's so many controls on this. It's not that bad, but there's a lot of controls. Okay, so I'm going to hide this. I'm going to show this. Okay, so I'm going to go and get back to what we were talking about here. Both declarations and affidavits are sworn statements under oath, the main difference is that an affidavit requires a notary public or other officer, and the certification of the signatory's signature, while the declaration doesn't. Okay, so that's kind of what it comes down to. Excuse me, real quick. I dropped my glasses and I had to pick them up in case I need to use them. Okay, so another thing I wanted to kind of bring in is we're going to talk about a few things, but as human beings, we rely on words to communicate thoughts and ideas, and but words aren't just tools of communication; they're also like really powerful instruments that can be used to manipulate public and the public's opinion. And we're going to explore in brief ways that words can be used to shape perceptions and beliefs about like the world around us. And we're going to talk about the power of language. Um, you know, the language that is conveyed um, through communication. With if that is not fully comprehended when it's conveyed, then we lose meaning of important things. Um, a good example, a really good example, you guys can point to this, would be like a text message. Have you ever have you ever sent a text message and you thought, okay, well, I'm going to send this text message. I hope they don't take it the wrong way. And maybe you don't know them so well, and someone comes back and they get mad and it was like, oh no, this is a big misunderstanding, you read that wrong, the wrong way. Like their perception of receiving something is huge. That's why we can't go on being victims when we're working things out to try to be accountable. So you can't go in one word and say, okay, I am no longer going to act like I'm not competent to handle my own affairs, and then go and say that somebody victimized you. Okay, because the whole idea behind it, and I'm not saying that you're not a victim, any of you. Okay, you may all be victims that are watching. I don't know, but the fact of the matter is that if you do get victimized in anything, you have to get beyond that. You have to forgive and move on, because you can't continue to grow and be who you really are as a being without healing through that first. And that means forgiveness. And you can't, like, there's nobody to blame. There is nobody to blame. See, this is something that was placed in people's minds a long time ago, that you got to find somebody to blame. Somebody's at fault for this because this would have never happened if this. And that's how everything is portrayed to everybody. And people buy that as being what it is. I can remember, like, I'm sure you guys know that in this last year or 2 or 3 years, some of your lives may have taken a 180-degree turn where you believe certain things to be a certain way before, and now you're just like, never would I've ever thought this, but it is totally changed. And that's because, well, things are changing and evolving in a very rapid way that has, like, I've not seen this in my lifetime before. But it's totally 100% okay. And it's just this time. This is this time of this cycle. We are in a cycle that this is this time of this cycle. And throughout these cycles, that there's records of, if you want to dig deep enough, you can look at, there's a lot of really accurate records. If you guys want some really good information, I'm going to tell you that you can go and listen to Jason Brashears on archaics.com. He's got some really good stuff. It's archaix.com. The only thing about Jason, I wish he would have listened to my previous messages to him, because I wanted to help him get his situation fixed. And I truly believe that he has a podcast on YouTube that he recently did, where the marshals came out to his house, and that's because he's misclassified still, and I can help him fix it. But I need to get a hold of him. So if anybody knows him, then let him know that, hey, you know what? I'm willing to give you a help out here, help you out, because not because I don't want anything from you. But, you know, he went through the same thing that I did. He went through a lot longer than I did. But I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like you go through these periods of time and you can tell that he's done something different with his life now than where he was. And this isn't about condemning another man for something that they did already, that they already spent time in a cage for. um, if people did things that were wrong, even if they were justified in not Roman pontification, then I would still say, you serve your time, you don't owe a dime. That's the bottom line. You pay your dues and you're done. That's it. People can't keep holding stuff over you saying, we want to have this additional contract with you too. That's not okay. And then using guns and threats of more uh, incarceration or locking people up in a cage is not a resolution to anything, folks. I'm just telling you, locking people up is not helping anybody. If you guys think that people are, getting punished for stuff, they're not. That place it's just inhumane. I'm telling you guys, for some, people belong there. For victimless crimes, people belong there. And there's nobody that, I mean, if you guys think about this, we say, well, we have a creator that, I don't know, maybe people think that you have a creator that punishes people. I don't believe that. I think that, everything in nature is like always giving, it's always forgiving, it's always like willing to lend a hand, like you're part of one big universe, right? I mean, wow, isn't that prophetic? But and it is what it is. Um, the the use of um, words in manipulation of public opinion is probably the most powerful tool that has been used throughout history to maintain the status quo, which is basically the way things are right now, and advance the interests of those in who are currently in power. As people, we have the ability to evaluate information that we encounter and to make informed decisions about things that we want to do. Okay. And language is a system of symbols that allows us to express thoughts and feelings to each other. Words carry meaning and connotation that can shape perception and beliefs about the world around us. For example, the use of words like terrorist or refugee, they evoke emotion and responses that influence how we view and see and perceive groups of people. Um, the use of uh, propaganda, and propaganda is a form of communication that was designed to influence public opinion or behavior. Okay, so when they come out and say, well, I'm going to give you guys a good example. I saw a really great example. What is the guy's name? Terrence Howard, that came out with this whole new theory to stuff. Okay, folks, this doesn't happen by an accident. I mean, I'm not disparaging anything or anyone, and people are saying, well, the guy's been through a lot. Well, you know what? I mean, I'm not. I listen. I'm going to say this. Okay, if there was information that people that were in charge didn't want the public to see, it would never be allowed out there, period. There is a reason why it's allowed out there, because it's to create confusion. It's to create, well, maybe he's on the right side. Maybe he's the one that's going to come save the day. Maybe he's the one that's the false prophet that everybody talks about in the scripture, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating like anything, folks. It can be to any one of these degrees, but I will tell you this, that he's not going to go poor. He's not getting beat up by anyone. He is still out there talking as much as he wants to talk about whatever he wants to talk about. And it is what it is. I mean, just you need to look at the facts instead of what people say. All right. Look at the facts. Nothing's changed. Somebody went on and said something. And I think that's something is just to create a little distraction over here. Like, look over here. Oh, you can't see anything over here. Nothing going on over here while they're eating the side of your head off over on the other side. Oh, by the way, I keep forgetting to do this every single time.
The following program contains mature content and is the truth. No part herein is intended to be legal advice and is for entertainment purposes only. Audience discretion is advised.
Okay, so yeah, I keep forgetting that every day. Social media platforms have become more and more of a source of like this news and information. But the platforms are used to spread misinformation too. Like during the 2015 presidential election, Russian agents used social media. Russian agents, folks, Russian agents. Ooh, Russian agents. Who are these Russian agents that we don't even know? In other words, there's something that we can't see, right? A fearful thing that we can't see. Oh, these Russian agents are coming to get us, the boogie monsters, right? Okay, that are use social media to spread false information about candidates in an attempt to sway public opinion. Now, how easy would that be if you have control over everything to say some boogeyman far across the way has caused this thing and we're never going to be able to see him, but we do have a problem and you guys should really do something about it. You get it? Like we have to change something. And that's the whole point is they want the change. Now, corporations' vested interest in maintaining the dominance over the public opinion. They put a lot of money into this, and it can lead to the use of words and languages that are designed to shape perceptions of certain products or services. Like, for example, many companies engage in greenwashing, which is a practice of making environmental claims about their products or services that aren't supported by evidence. So put a green symbol on the side and say, well, we're part of this. Or, for example, another great example would be the organic. Okay, now organic has become a statutory word. So if you look up organic under statutory, it says something completely different than what organic by the definition of our creator would say. So organic means it comes from the ground. It's not touched by any chemicals or anything like that. And then they take the word organic and make a statutory word out of it. And they're like, oh, now here's organic. Now it's only going to include a list of these toxic chemicals, but it's not the same as the organic over here. It's just the new organic, which is the new world organic or new world order organic brand. So that's what you're getting. You're getting a modified, genetically modified brand that is by the same name. Just like, for example, folks, law and equity. Okay. Equity follows the law. Okay. But the law will go only so far before equity has to take over. And people are not getting remedy because they're stuck in law and they're trying to they're trying to do things in law when they don't understand the paradigm and the problem. Many of these, I see many posts around too on social media, since we're on the topic, where people are, wondering, why are people incarcerated? Why is there not this? Why is this not happening? How come they weren't given these rights? How come there was no disclosure of this? Some of these things. Now, when you guys start pressing these issues under constitutional stuff, I believe, and I say I'm talking about the court system, the judiciary, they feel compelled they can't totally just say no. I mean, if they did that, then people would say there is no law, then you guys don't exist, and they would start figuring the stuff out much faster. But if you have issues where, you push something financially to the limit and you say, okay, well, if we let anything more out of this, then, they're going to bring it into public. It's going to cause this. So we're just going to cut our losses right now. This is all financial decisions, folks. It's all about accounting, and it's all about doing numbers, because there's no money as we know it anymore. Yeah, it's crazy. So that perception of what we know as money isn't what we know it as. Those corporate interests have what they've done is they created, so it was the same people creating the companies all along at the very top. It was the top people. And then people started like getting into the mix and discovering what those people had done. And they started following that. And that was just, that was the way to make money. And that they followed these other people that did this money thing right into the same pit that they were in. And now many of them have made money into this system, and they don't even know that there's another system that parallels this that is for private people. But wrong, and I think much like the Elvis Presley article, the estate of that, the only way that gets into that situation is if somebody makes some sort of promise or attaches something to it. So maybe they'll win, maybe they're not, won't, but I know that the Chancery Court is going to take a look at it, and if they're right on the records, then equity will see done that which ought to be done. So let me move on here. I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to talk about what a sovereign citizen is. Okay. We're going to talk about a sovereign citizen too. A sovereign citizen, sovereign actually comes from the Latin word super anus. So you guys that are sovereigns are like not just anuses, you're super anuses. Congratulations and good job. Just kidding. No, it's comes from super anus, but it means above. In legal terms, the sovereign refers to someone who's not subject to the laws of another country or state. Okay. So when I told you guys, when you create your own estate, and remember, Anderson's Law Dictionary, 1889, says state, estate, and status are all the same word. So when I tell you guys, I've told you this before, when I say your status is what your state is. So when you give them their state as a public charitable trust, handing over their state, whatever, then you agree and acquiesce to be in their state when you could have your own state. And the states are sovereign, right? States are sovereign. So when you connect those things together, you start to see, wow, you know what? Wait a second. That's what happened because I'm not that. I haven't created that thing. And it's not an entity. I don't want you to think of it as an entity because it's already there. Okay. You guys don't need to go and be big creators on that stuff. What you need to do is just learn to get back with your creator, and then everything will fall into place. And it's a matter of just making choices. I'm not saying you got to get right with God. Okay. I mean, you know what you got to do, and I'm not here to preach to anybody. So you guys do what you got to do. But this other stuff is just like physical, semantic stuff. So, cause like I'm speaking from a spiritual perspective to you guys, cause like all this garbage is physical stuff. And I'm telling you, like from a spirit to a bunch of other spirits, that you got to clean this physical garbage that we did here in this physical world that we don't belong in up, because it wasn't ours to go and like do this garbage here. It was a place that we were not supposed to be. We're here, and these people tricked us into, or I wouldn't say people, these other beings that are not good tricked us into getting into these things that we should have never gotten into, because everything here is all abundant. That's what it comes down to. So when you start realizing that, you know, this abundance it's out there for people to see, as soon as you guys want to wake up and get your world out of what you've invested your whole life into, and that's everything like physical. And you know, there's people out there that are hurting from losing physical stuff, because the physical stuff, the way it was acquired, should have never been acquired that way. And I can't change the way somebody acquires it, but I can sure tell you what the right way to do it is. And like everything you've done, you can go and back and get the records for and to fix. But you gotta learn, and you gotta give yourself time to learn this, what I'm showing you. And when you do, then you become very powerful and nobody messes with you again. That's the idea. So moving on to the second half. Now we know what a sovereign is. sovereign implies that individuals believe they're not subject to federal or state laws and can claim certain rights based on their interpretation of the Constitution. Now, in that context, it's talking about, in legal terms, it says a sovereign is someone that is not subject to the laws of another country or state. That's true. But in that context, it's twisted. It said implies that the individuals believe that they're not subject to federal or state laws. That is incorrect. That would say that individuals, okay, that's the key word. The key word being it implies these individuals. Okay, yes, it implies that individuals, because by definition, the word individual is an entity, a corporation of the United States. So you're using public property again to do that. If you are using private property, it is different because you are not now coming to them at them with their property. Citizen comes from the Latin word civis, which means citizen. Okay, it refers to someone who's a member of a particular community or nation and is subject to its laws and customs. Okay, 501c3, 501c4, the churches you belong to, you guys are now members, and now you are subject to 501c3, 501c4 customs, laws and customs. It's the same thing. It just draws you right back into being a U.S. citizen. So anytime you're members of something that the U.S. citizen or the United States owns, think about this, because every corporation is registered with the Secretary of State, and every Secretary of State is a member of the state of, and every state of is a subsidiary of the District of Columbia. So in a nutshell, so individuals consider themselves citizens of a higher power than the government. That's what it's trying to convey. But that's not really the truth. It is someone who knows thyself is actually where everyone else wishes to be. And you can't, I mean, it's not a bad thing to know, to have these rights and to know that, you know, something is the way it is. It's just, I mean, people are misinformed to a lot of things, the way things are. And when we start squaring things up the way that the truth is, it really makes a lot of sense. People are upset until the fact that they learn that, wow, you know what? I can change this. And that's kind of the frustrating part. Is the most frustrating for everybody is they've damaged me forever. That's the perception we have. They've damaged me forever. And that's not it. It's not even you they've damaged, because they can't damage you, because you're a creature of your creator. You come from your creator. No one can damage you. You can't be damaged. Seriously. The only way that you can become lesser, and it's not damaged, it's just lesser. It's just, imagine, like, I don't know. You guys remember those what do they call those things where you the sugar diabetes stick? It was like a sugar stick, and then it had a bunch of different powders that you could dip it into. It's one of those things that I'm talking about. And you take one of those and you put one of those on, like, stick the sugar in, and you get more diabetes. And you're like, boy, I can really speed up this diabetic process right here, you know, by eating that stuff. And it's just not, it doesn't ever come to be anything good. It's just pure 100% sugar. It's not conducive to anything positive. So, you know, the whole point of what we're trying to accomplish is to make a change in a positive direction. And when you guys understand or comprehend, should I say, for a choice of better words, that you have the rights under whatever umbrella you choose to be under, you have those rights under that umbrella. It's when you choose the wrong umbrella by not knowing something. And when someone says something, they imply that you're under this umbrella. If you don't restate it, you might think you're under that umbrella, but by your answer, you're actually under the other one. And that's where we got to, like, be careful. And that's where we have to just learn and continue to learn who we are. So, yeah, so that's pretty much it for the sovereign citizen. Sovereign citizen really is not a word. It's actually a fictionate law. because you can't have a citizen who is a member of somebody be also sovereign and one of themselves, because you can't have a member who's also independent. You get it? That's where you guys, I mean, you look at people crazy because you should, if they say sovereign citizen. Um, that's like, well, are you a jumbo shrimp? Is that possible? Really? I mean, and you just explain it. I always say that. Do you know that isn't a real word, right? Like, a citizen is a member of a group of people, and a sovereign is independent. So how can an independent be a member of a group? You're either independent or you're sovereign. You're not both. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, briefly, for those that are interested, in the postal ink stamp, the cancellation stamp. You guys know, when you go to the post office, and I haven't talked about this in a class in a little while, but I will talk about it, is that the postal stamp that they have behind the counter, they have a red stamp that sits behind the counter. And that postal stamp is a jurisdictional stamp for whether you are in the public or in the private. Okay. When you guys are doing postage, you can't do, I'm going to tell you again and again and again, you cannot do their Pitney Bowes like stamp that just ran through it. Maybe I have one. Somebody sent me something very recently. Okay. So yeah, you can't do this. You can't do that. Here, let me show you. Let me cover this part up here. I mean, I could show you guys part of it, but I don't want to show everybody my address. So you can see that. You guys can see that. So it says it's addressed to the Patrick Neil Marino Trust, which is the trust that I am in charge of. But it's got the Pitney Bowes, see right up, or right over here. That should not be there. That's an electronic stamp. See what these guys do, and this is what took me a long time to understand this, is they took this, instead of having valuable consideration, they created up an accounting now, and just, they're like billing it to an account. That's what that is, instead of exchanging something for lawful money. So you guys, what I do, I'll tell you what I do when I go to the post office. I usually know now it's like $17 for me to send something registered mail, depending on what it is. So I'll take $17 in stamps and I'll bring them with me. Before, what I used to do is I used to go into the post office. I would find out what I'm sending by what method, and I would go up through the desk. I would go through the office, and I'd say, so how much is that going to be to send? And they'd say, it's going to be this. And I'd say, okay, great. Can I get that much in stamps? And they'd say, they'd look at me funny. They'd say, yeah, do you want to just get stamps for it now? No, I'd rather get the stamps from you. And then they'll sell you the stamps. So you buy the stamps right there. And then you take them back into the post office on one of the tables, and you add them onto your label. And then you go stand back in line, and you go back up, and they're probably the same person. If not, you just say, I'd like you to cancel all of my stamps, and I'd like to send this registered mail. And you get a receipt for what you sent off, because those stamps represent lawful money. And now you have your own postages paid on your own transaction. And if you send it over, if you put over $20 on there, then you are sending it private under your own registered information. So that's just a tidbit of information. $20 in common law proves that you're not a pauper or a poor person. Okay, that's what that means. So those things are very powerful. But those cancellation stamps are jurisdictional. If you look on those cancellation stamps, it has a date and a time, right? So now you're under a different jurisdiction when you do that. See, remember, these courts you're dealing with, folks, are different. All these things that you do have different jurisdictional marks on them, but you got to pay attention to what they do and what they mean, because every single one of them is different. Okay. That postal ink stamp is called a cancellation because it's basically played a huge role up until the mid 19th century, but different methods of stamp usage, like pen and ink markings or wax seals, were used. But as they became more popular, postage stamps and mass mailings during the Industrial Revolution, a more efficient method for canceling the stamps became necessary. So in the U.S., the first postal stamp machines were patented in 1853 by Henry Chapin, Chapin. And the machines were rubber pads dipped in ink to create the imprint of the postage stamp that rendered it usable for future mailings. And over time, the cancellation systems evolved into more advanced and efficient mechanisms designed to cancel multiple stamps simultaneously while using incorporating methods to design elements such as date stamps or location markings. And the use of postal ink stamps wasn't limited to government postal services and extended to private carriers as well. Private courier companies that emerged during the late 19th century to later in the growing demand for mail delivery often utilized their own unique cancellation marks to differentiate themselves from competitors and maintain control over their shipments. So it was something that had been used. The primary difference between the cancellation used for private men and women and commercial lies in the context of application. Okay. Both groups utilize postal ink stamps as a means for verifying postage usage, but private individuals might apply them to personal correspondence or packages sent through public mail services. In contrast, businesses or organizations use commercial mailings would likely employ cancellation to track shipment, establish proof of delivery, or enforce contracts related to shipping and handling fees. So remember, in your capacity, whatever capacity you're operating under, if you're an agent of a mini corporation, a subsidiary, because the state of created a name, right, on a piece of paper, and that is a subsidiary of the state. So that's what you're using. And many people can't get that whole process into their mind. Like, what? What did you just say? That's exactly what happened. We become the surety for a stranger because we're not even, using what the Creator gave us. And I say Creator because, well, your mom and dad thought of the name, right? But did they write it like that? If they didn't write it like that, then it's written wrong and it's not the name. It's not the same. It's not the same name in the same name game. Okay. It just isn't. So general post, let's talk about that. General post refers to overall operation and management of a postal service within a country or a region. And it covers different aspects of policy making, regulatory oversight, infrastructure development, service delivery across different communication channels, including mail, parcels, and electronic transactions. In a lot of countries, a general post is administered by a government agency or public corporation, like it is here, USPS, responsible for providing postal services to citizens and businesses alike. And these organizations are typically governed by laws and regulations that establish standards for quality, efficiency, and security in the handling of mails and parcels. Boom. It's just like public regurgitation of gobbledygook. As technology continues to evolve, so does the role of the general post in addressing and emerging challenges related to digital measures to hang on just a second. Let me find my spot here. Okay. Let me start over. As technology continues to evolve, so too does the role of the general post in addressing emerging challenges related to digital communication, e-commerce, and cybersecurity. This may involve investing in advanced technologies such as automated sorting systems or implementing new measures to protect customer data from unauthorized access or theft. So general post requirements represents the comprehensive administration and management of postal services within a jurisdiction. So as private civilians, you guys need to make sure that you're getting the documents, the things that you're doing stamped, okay? Because that is your jurisdictional authority in everything you're doing. When you're doing these documents and transactions, you're running a jurisdictional authority that is, you're giving them authority to do stuff. If you choose to opt out of that, and the more stuff you do, I mean, make sure you guys are all super for real. Like, stay above um, in legal terms. That's what a sovereign is. So super anus. Like, people aren't going to want to be that anymore. They're like, no, no, I'm a super anus citizen. Yeah, go try using that one. I'd love to see that. I want to see that on video. Not really, guys. Please don't do that. Don't hold court on the side of the road. Um, so we are going to let's see. I wanted to see if there's anything else here that I'm missing that I didn't give you guys. Uh, and I don't know if there's any questions. I can go look in the questions. Yes, yes, Chad Pruitt. Yes, they will try to put the metered mail stamp. Also, they're going to try to do it, guys. You got to keep it away from them. That's why I don't give it to them. When you guys go in there, I'm glad you brought that up because that's a good point. These people are sneaky, and I go in there now. It's just like I do it. Like, okay, here's what I got to do. Here's my mission and my goal, and I know what I have to do. You guys are like going in there with thinking, okay, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to see. I don't do that anymore. I did that, and I remember that, and I got to be empathetic about that and understanding. So, Chad, thank you so much for that. But the I'll talk about this in just a second. But the uh the the postal people will try to run it through stuff. They try to do it as, I mean, efficiency. I get it. They try to do it as efficiently as possible. But the other thing too is when you guys are paying for things, I always tender payment for stuff there in silver. I always tender for silver, and I have a receipt for that. So if you guys don't know how to do that, you need to learn how to do that. You need to reach out and learn how to do that because I can't teach that on like YouTube. YouTube won't let me teach that. But I can teach it to you, and we teach it in the classes. So that's something that you're gonna need to learn how to do because you can't. You guys, I just saw there were things in here that people were talking about imperfect gifts, but you know what? Imperfect gift, it's okay. An imperfect gift is what you were been given, folks. It's not. This isn't your fault. None of this stuff is your fault. You've been given a bunch of imperfect gifts, and what do you do with those? You keep making more imperfect gifts because that's all you were taught to do. But like, change your thinking, change your thought, change your process, and just move that around. Once you amend that, then you become in the right category, in the proper category. And I don't I tell you guys a lot of things that are very honest, and I may not make sense to you guys, but when you learn, and I'm telling you, I speak to you like somebody that is teaching someone a language, because I try to speak it just like you're going to hear it and what it means, just like in everyday language. I try to throw in little things here along the way so you're not just lost like I'm speaking another language to you. I try to paraphrase things. If there's stuff that I don't, I'm not including, I want you to leave a message and have me explain if I need to elaborate on something further. Absolutely leave a message in the comments, and I'll get back with you guys because I want to see, I want to know what's happening. I want to know where you guys are. I get messages. I know I got a message very recently for someone that has a court hearing, and they talked about how they had a court hearing that, like, when you get into a court hearing, all right, so you get pulled over, and then they're like, well, you have this in your car, or you have that, or whatever. Well, let's understand it first, okay? You were a member of a group of people, and you became a member by your participation, by not knowing how to not participate, and you participated and didn't tell anybody anything. And so now you have this thing that was a little thing that maybe you couldn't pay because they couldn't tell you how to pay, and you didn't have the money because there is none. And so now you're stuck in all these situations that you don't understand. It's a matter of just sitting down and breaking down exactly what happened, because there's a truth behind all of this. This is the knowledge that when we bite into the apple and we take the temptation of the physical things that are offered to us, we end up if we don't know how to manage that, we end up in a bondage situation where we give up our creator and we go under like obligation to another third party that has nothing to do with spirituality or goodness, or it's all usury. And um, well, I mean, it's the root of the word usury is use, right? So like you're getting used, and that's usurpation as well. You're usurping your authority, and you're basically losing your authority. You're settling for something different and giving them the title to like holding control. And they're taking they're doing all of the accountable stuff that you can do and you should be doing, but you didn't opt to do that in the beginning. And because of that, well, now you're in a situation where you've got to go back and try to figure out what happened and why and what you can do to fix that. So I appreciate all you guys for coming out today. If you didn't, if you guys could, I don't know why, I feel like compelled to tell you guys to, if you liked the video, put a like up there. If you didn't, then well, okay. I'm cool with that. I still want you to have a great day. And you guys, if you have anything that you guys want to talk about or care to talk about or care to like drop information on or whatever, just reach out and we'll get a hold of you guys and talk about stuff. We're always talking about things, but this is like right now, this is a thing because we have the time to do it right now. This is not going to be something that is going to be, we're going to continue to, I can't, I don't know how much, I only have so much time, but I'll keep doing what I can do and I'll keep giving you guys like the best of the best. And we will have I'll see you guys again tomorrow on the same platform. So you guys have an amazing day. I appreciate you very much. I send you much love and energy. And with that, I yield.